Hello, and welcome to Unmuted. I'm Judge E.J. Russell, and we are here to educate and inform. Unmuted will feature a variety of guests, including politicians, community leaders, entertainers, decision makers, and others addressing news-breaking issues and compelling concerns to the community and nation. If you would like to contact us, please send an email to unmuted@my.yahoo.com. That's unmuted@my.yahoo.com. Today's guest is Vern Gavin, Hinds County Supervisor District 4 and newly elected president of the board. Welcome, Supervisor Gavin, to Unmuted.
Thank you so very much, Judge Russell, for having me here. And it is a pleasure to be in your company.
All right,
on your
then.
show.
Thank you. And before we move forward, I want people to know what all you are responsible for as a supervisor, and that is that you guys as a board have jurisdiction over roads, ferries, bridges, tax levies, courthouses, and jails, county-owned real property, appropriation of funds, contractual powers, and other powers expressly authorized by law. And at this time, you are herding those cats down at the Board of Supervisors office, trying to keep it all in the middle of the road.
Well, I'm fortunate that I had the support of the Board of Supervisors, and I was elected as vice president, and our former president, Credell Calhoun, stepped down after his term of 2 years. And I ascended to the presidency on Tuesday of last week.
All right. How's it going so far?
So far, it's been a blessing. And we're looking forward to a very productive year. We are focusing a lot on our economic development now. And of course, we also having to address the urgent needs that is here in Hinds County with the water issues as well as the flooding. And we're going to be working with the municipalities to make sure that whatever their needs are, if Hinds County can address them, we will be able to partner with them and make it happen. And we're also going to be looking towards the federal government as well as the state to assist when there's opportunities there.
All right. So for education and information to our viewing and listening audience, there are 5 members of the Hinds County Supervisor.
There are 5 members. We have districts. And that's District 1, which is Supervisor Robert Graham, District 2, which is Supervisor David Archie, and District 3, which is Supervisor Credell Calhoun, the former president. And of course, I'm in District 4, Vern Gavin, and Bobby Bobcat McGowan, who's in District 5.
Okay. And tell us what area your district covers specifically.
My area primarily covers the center core of Hinds County, and that entails Clinton at the north. Then you will go south. It goes just over south of Bolton, and then it goes due south to Raymond. Then you go all the way across over to Terry Road, just south of Byram, and then come up Terry Road to Forest Hill and come back around and dovetail back into Clinton. Well,
that's a lot, and it's crazily drawn as I can see it in my head from the directions that you give.
Well, there's some others that are even worse, but it works. And I'm very pleased with my constituents. Okay. We are trying very diligently to address those needs, but as you know, we're under the unit system. We're not under the old beat system where each supervisor works concentration on their district. We have the responsibility of the entire county as supervisors, so we're functioning truly as a board today.
Okay, that is absolutely great. Now, I know that we've had redistricting and redrawing of the lines. So did that move you one way or the other in terms of what your district will be when we have elections in the fall?
Yes, it did. We were fortunate. I think I know my district specifically had grown. And we have to have an average of 45,000 plus in each district, or a 10% range either way. And of course, I had to give up some space in some part of my district in order to come down to the 45. I was pretty close to 50,000.
Oh, wow.
So our district is expanding, if you will.
Well, and that's interesting that you say that, because most of Hinds County is losing population, but your district, people are moving to your district within the county.
That is correct.
Well,
that is correct.
Wonder why?
Well, as you know, with all major metropolitan areas like the city of Jackson, if you look at any of the cities, Atlanta, Dallas, New Orleans, Chicago, what have you, people are moving to the suburban areas. And most of my area is considered a suburban towns or cities.
Okay, down Terry.
We don't
Raymond.
go to Terry, but we go to Byram.
Okay.
And of course you go to Clinton. And those are the most popular ones at this point in terms of growth.
Okay, very good. That's very informative. Now, this is your first term, full term, as a member of the Board of Supervisors. Tell us a little bit about what you did prior to.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm a native of Noxubee County, Mississippi, the great central east part of the state.
I know it well.
And I graduated from BF Liddell. Well, I didn't graduate from BF Liddell. I attended BF Liddell and graduated from R.J. Kirksey High School in Aliceville, Alabama. From there, I went to Mary Holmes Junior College, and then from Mary Holmes to Jackson State. And I graduated in an undergraduate degree in accounting, and I got a master's of business administration degree from Jackson State. I love.
I love. All right then.
Yes.
And you also served as the county administrator for Hinds County prior to your election as a supervisor.
Yes, I had the opportunity. I've been very blessed. I've served as a federal auditor with the Federal Home Loan Bank Board when I first graduated from Jackson State. And I later started working with a consulting firm where we work as a contracted agency with the U.S. Department of Commerce and Minority Business Development. From there, we formed a partnership with three other gentlemen, and it was called Concept Limited. And in that, we had contracts also with the U.S. Department of Commerce, and we served minority business development on a national scale.
So it sounds like you can count those numbers, you know how to keep the books or how they're supposed to look, and which is great for Hinds County citizens.
Well, hopefully my experience would be a great attribute to moving Hinds County forward. And just to further it a little bit more, after doing that, became self-employed, and I started my own business, and I've operated it now for pretty close to in excess of 40 years. And
not all businesses last 40 years.
It's been a struggle, but we're very pleased. And from that, then of course, I maintained some consulting services and ventured into real estate. And of course, then I got into consulting, and I was asked to come and serve as the county administrator. So from 2008 to 2010, I served as the Hinds County Administrator.
Okay, great experience, which now leads us into your new position as the president of the Hinds County Board of Supervisors. And most of our listeners are aware that there's been some turmoil and some crisis and all of those kinds of things that you guys as members have had to deal with. But tell us, what would you like to see accomplished during your term as president?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say this. I was sitting in my church on Sunday before I was installed as president, and I was sitting there thinking about what I was going to say and how I would position it. And my church choir had two songs, and basically those two songs answered my concern. And one is God is a Waymaker. And the second one is don't linger in the past, but learn from your past and move to the future.
Great.
And so with those two, that is my mission for 2023.
All right. Now, tell us kind of what's on the planning sheet for you, especially from an economic development standpoint.
Well, at this particular point, we're working on a comprehensive plan, and the previous president and the board gave me that opportunity to start a comprehensive plan. There's been a number of plans that have been done in the past, but we're revising the plan, and hopefully this is going to be a 50-year plan. My belief is that if you're going to go to Chicago, as an illustration here, you need to first know that you got to get on I-55. and from Jackson, of course. And then there are going to be roadblocks, if you will, possibly in the way. And so you got to learn to make those detours, but keep you focused on where you're going. And I-55 to Chicago is what our focus would be in that analogy. So we're going to try to create a plan that will restore the economic viability in Hinds County. We're losing, as you most know, we're losing our tax base. It's eroding. People are moving to the suburban areas, and some of those are outside of the county. And some of them are outside of the state. And as you know, Hinds County has 8 institutions of higher learning, 8. And most places will consider themselves blessed if they just got 1. Okay, but we have 8. So we are a college county, not just town, but college county. And when you consider that,
we're going to need to hold you right there. We're going to take a break, but we'll be right back.
Great deal.
Welcome back. We're talking to Supervisor Vern Gavin of the Hinds County Board of Supervisors, the newly elected president. Please finish your thought on being a college county, a college town with 8 institutions of higher learning.
Yes, as I indicated, with 8 institutions of higher learning, then that means that we are training people. We have the brain power here in Hinds County to be the Mecca of the South, as my former predecessor said and couched it. So what we're hoping to do is to create this plan where we can utilize that talent and we can recruit industries into Hinds County and use that talent to stay here and grow and develop.
All right. And putting that plan together, do we have any plans for industry, manufacturing, or anything that is on the radar at this point that we just need to close the deal in Hinds County?
Well, there are a number of prospects, and it is not wise to reveal those prospects
always
until you pretty much have nailed them down, because as you know, there's competition out there, and where we're making a certain offer in order to attract them, they will be kind of topping that if they find out that this is what we're doing. So, but we do have some on the drawing board, and hopefully we'll be successful with them. We are working on the comprehensive plan. That also entails creating some other entities that would assist our Hinds County Economic Development Authority in developing economic in Hinds County. Development Authority, I think, is doing a great job. There are other resources that is available through the other entities that we have not been afforded. And so as a result of that, creating those entities would be, and that is a 501c6 and a 501c3. And one of those is creating membership, and the other one is, of course, is a foundation that would allow donations to come in. So we're looking at doing that in conjunction with the revenue that the Development Authority is generating now, and those that are made available through our state agency as well as our tax base. So we're trying to develop a broad base to attract industry in, and some things that we could do through those 2 entities that may have restrictions coming from the state or the federal government.
Now, these entities you were talking about may have some restrictions, or how does that work, and how will it interact with the governmental piece of it?
Well, actually, it will be in complement to the governmental piece. As you know, with private funds coming in through the 501c3, the corporate investment, if you will, then there would be less restrictions on that than you would possibly have with federal funds or state funds. And so that even though there will be regulations associated with it, it won't be as strenuous.
Okay. And is Hinds County, the Board of Supervisors, or any entity that you are aware of, working to make sure that our high schoolers and folk who are in our higher institutions of learning are ready for employment. And I know that's not a direct responsibility of the Board of Supervisors, but as you are encouraging people to come to Hinds County to hire, to live, they're looking at the readiness of employees, and a lot of them don't have driver's license because they didn't pay a ticket or something.
Right. Well,
just simple things.
We, as a part of developing the comprehensive plan, we have had various need assessment sections with, at this point, 18 different sectors of our economy. And we're talking about the educational institutions, our elected officials from the county. We've met with the municipalities. We've met with various industries inside of Hinds County to do what is called a SWOT analysis. And in that SWOT is, of course, your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And they've had an opportunity to express what they feel that the county needs and where they feel our opportunities are. And so we're moving in that direction with that kind of consideration of input from each of those stakeholders. And hopefully once we've developed this plan, then we would have buy-in from our other municipalities across the county, as well as our elected officials representing us at the state level. So when we go there, we have a very methodically thought out plan to address where we're trying to go and what our requests for funds are.
Okay, so in developing this 50-year plan, are the stakeholders from the other municipalities in Hinds County, do they have a seat at the table, or you guys at the Board of Supervisors will put together the plan and then shop it to them for their buy-in? How does that process work?
Well, at this particular point, as I indicated, we had the need assessments, and we did invite them, all of the municipalities, to come in, share with us their plans for their area, as well as where they see Hinds County being able to go forward. We do plan to have an all-inclusive governing body over those two entities that are going to be added, and hopefully so that when the one municipality is trying to create something, the other municipality won't be in competition with them, but they will be able to work together and see how they can both benefit, and hopefully pool the resources in order to make certain that whatever the project is a benefit for the entire county.
Okay, that sounds wonderful, and I mean, we can continue to talk about this 50-year plan, but if there are other things, I don't want us to run out of time on some of your other goals and things that you are just excited about getting done in Hinds County during your administration.
Well, of course, we need to address the basic needs that we have here in Hinds County now.
Water.
And that's water. I mean, everybody's concerned about the water, and so am I. And we also have to be concerned about the flooding. The dredging of ditches and other things in this area is not up to par, and we have to get that. And of course, a lot of the commercial development that is taking place where we're clearing off land, swamp land, we're not in my summation, is not properly being drained so that it won't create a flood downstream. And so we've got to address those issues. We got to work more diligently with the Corps of Engineers and all of those experts that deal with water drainage situations. So we've got to do that. I think the mayor and the city council was working to address that issue with the water situation now. And hopefully with the President of the United States making that a sizable contribution, that we'll be milestones ahead getting there to get that issue resolved. So, but that's just one phase of it. And we've, those pipes that underground has probably been there 75 plus years. And so, the life expectancy is at some point has to end. And so
I think
now,
it may have.
I think it has. And so what we got, they got to be replaced. And so I commend those that are working on that project. And I know the citizens are impatient, and rightfully so. But it's going to take some time. But yes, because it's going to take some time now to do what should have been done a long time ago. So
do you think that replacing all of these things, well, let's compare replacing all of these things to the recommendation of a city council person that you just abandon the Curtis water plant and build a new one? Because that's going to take time as well.
Well, building a new one would take time. Abandoning the plan would also entail a certain process. And to be honest with you, I'm the one that rely upon the experts to do their due diligence and give advice in areas that I don't have the expertise in. Right. And certainly dealing with water and water treatment is not my field. And so as a result of that, I will be more than willing to work with a sensible plan if it's presented.
Well, that's good to hear, because sometimes people just dig in and say no.
Well, you know, the opportunity is always there for an opinion. But then sometimes opinions work negatively rather than positive. And sometimes opinions are used for other things other than the benefit of what the subject matter is. And so as a result...
That statement said a lot.
so as a result of that, we have to be very, very careful and discerning as to why those opinions are being offered and how far those opinions have been thought out. Okay.
So tell us, okay, we're going to deal with the 50-year plan, we're going to deal with the water, and...
We're going to deal with the drainage issues, which will prevent flooding. And of course, we're going to deal with the roads and bridges, because that is an ongoing issue that has to be addressed. My plan is that we would have projected out the number of roads that we're going to repair each year, and we would have the status of each of those roads in terms of the condition in which they are in now. So we'll be able to prioritize them and go at them in a very methodical way, and not just responding when the condition has gotten so deplorable that everybody's unsatisfied.
Well, now the Hinds County Board of Supervisors, Hinds County, optimal 2 words there.
Yes.
But do you all have responsibility for roads and bridges inside of the city of Jackson, the city of Byram, and those as well?
Well, as supervisors, of course, Hinds County encompasses those boundaries, and what's in Hinds County, we to some degree have the responsibility. However, we do have to work, or if you will, take the back seat to those incorporated areas, because that's the purpose of them being incorporated, is an indication that they have assumed the responsibility for the maintenance of their incorporated area.
Okay. So how does a person know whether they need to complain to the city or complain to the county when a road is or a street is not up to par?
Well, you know, most people who are complaining, they're just looking for some relief. They're not so concerned as to whether they're going to the appropriate source or whether they're going to wherever. I believe if the issue is such that they can call Chicago or call New York
and get some relief,
then that's what they're going to do. So
right.
That's understandable, okay?
Well,
but the
hold
incorporation.
Hold that thought.
Yes.
We're going to take a break.
Okay.
All right, welcome back. We're talking to Supervisor Vern Gavin, District 4 in Hinds County, about his plans for his term as the newly elected president. And you were telling us that people don't care as long as somebody will answer the phone and give them some relief.
That is correct. Now, I use this analogy, and I hope the listening audience will be able to interpret it. But if you've got children, and Hinds County, as Hinds County is to the state, so are the municipalities to the county. And if you've got kids that are your kids, you have a sense of obligation to them, regardless as to what age they are. Okay, I've got some grown kids, and I've got one daughter that's still at home. And so the point is, when a child, as we all know, when they get to that certain age, they want to say that they are grown in that sense of it. Mm-hmm. So they are adults now, and they want to be on their own. But there are still some things that they want to ask of you. And as a parent, you still feel that you need to try to assist them. And that's how I see it. But when you're looking at that child that is at home, regardless as to what that circumstance is, you have a sense of responsibility that you have to do it. Well, if you look at the incorporated areas and the unincorporated areas for the county, and I equate that same scenario because the unincorporated areas has no one else to go to, and they haven't considered themselves independent. And so the county has full responsibility for addressing the unincorporated area. But the incorporated areas have announced as that child who ready to leave home that I am grown now and I can take care of this area. Mm-hmm. But there are still some responsibilities there that they have to lean on somebody for assistance with. And that's where the county serves as a backup. Now that is not all exact, so that those out there that are going to be criticizing.
I understand it, though.
But that is kind of a scenario of how the system is.
Okay, so if you're a municipality, you kind of think you're grown.
Yes.
And the ones that still live in the county are still totally dependent on mom and daddy, which is the Hinds County Board of Supervisors.
That is correct.
That's it in a nutshell.
Yes.
And how has the, I guess, lottery money, Mississippi Lottery, who's giving the first 80 millions per year to the state to help with roads and bridges, has Hinds County benefited from that in any significant manner to fix some of our bad bridges? Because I know one time we had a lot of them on that list.
We have a lot of bridges that are on the list, and I can't say and again, because we have so many, it's hard to say what's enough. You know? So we have been getting some from the state, but we haven't been getting enough in order to address the needs that we have. We have more traffic perhaps than any other county. So naturally our roads and our bridges are going to be worn out much faster than some of the other areas. So more attention is going to have to be given. And again, once we've developed this comprehensive plan and we have it to the extent that we have projections as to when the roads are going to be deteriorating and based upon load factors and other things, when the bridges are subject to need repair, then we can start planning ahead and getting on the agenda with the state as well as with the federal government for assistance. Okay.
I know that sometimes people don't understand, well, who's responsible for which what? Would you be able to tell our audience exactly what you're responsible for, understanding that sometimes that's shared responsibility? And I know that the county has also spent some money refurbishing a space for detaining misdemeanor defendants in the city of Jackson. Can you tell us a little bit about both of those?
Well, and that kind of goes in hand with the grown child.
Yeah.
Some years back, the county took on the responsibility of providing space for detainees. And in working in conjunction with the city of Jackson, the city closed its facilities. We are in the process now of, because of some of the problems that we've had with the detention center in Raymond, we're in the process now of working other arrangements out in order to address those detainee needs, the needs for detainees there is. And so we are looking at working with the city of Jackson in this case, as well as providing for the other municipalities. But Jackson, as you know, is a much larger city, so that's why I'm naming Jackson. But we're working to provide a facility at the sheriff's office downtown. There's a holding facility there that because of the detention center, we had pretty much closed it, but now we remodeled it. And if you've been watching the news lately, they've shown it on the news that the facility is going to be open relatively soon, and that will be used for the detainees.
Now, will all detainees be there, or just the misdemeanor detainees, the ones who are accused of that? Well,
the detainees have a designated amount of time that they're supposed to be in a facility, and because they're not convicted yet.
Right.
And so there's not a prison, if you will. And once they are convicted, then of course they go to prison or they are released. And so they are supposed to be there on a temporary basis.
Okay. Now, I'm going to give you a few minutes to talk about anything you want the listening audience to be informed and educated about that I haven't asked you, because I've asked you some tough questions.
Yes, you have. But I would like to just say to the listening audience that we have, and I think this is something that we all can agree upon as supervisors, we all have a mission to try to make Hinds County the best it could possibly be. And we're going to be trying our best to reach out and galvanize all of the resources from our educational institutions, from our governmental agencies, from the various corporations that are operating inside of the county. And we're going to try to combine those resources to make Hinds County a better place. You mentioned about the educational aspects of it. Bill will be interested in talking with our colleges to get them to work with interns, providing interns for corporations who are going to be sitting up here, so that those students who are matriculating through the system will have some experience, real life experiences when they graduate. So that's just one of the aspects of it, and hopefully from that we will be able to retain a number of those students. Now, the other side of that is we have incorporated a program with Hope Credit Union. And in that program, this is an incentivized program for business development. And with Hope, we as a county contributed $3 million to Hope Credit Union. And Hope, under their various program, is going to match that with $7.5 million.
Wow.
So out of the $7.5 million, now we have $10.5 million that would be available for those businesses that may have had some setbacks as a result of COVID. And it is specifically designed to assist minority and small businesses. Hope has also indicated that it will work with other financial institutions for leveraging. So it would help if you are applying for a loan and if your credit is not quite up to par, then Hope, through our program, will provide you with that seed money in order to get you eligible to apply for the larger sum that you're looking for. So that is going to be a major, major plus.
Now, who do they contact about that program?
Now, Hope Credit Union.
Hope Credit Union.
I do not have their number to
That's
recall.
That's okay. They can find Hope.
But Hope Credit Union, HOPE, Credit Union, is the program, and they ask for the Hinds County Economic Development Program.
All right. Go ahead. You weren't finished.
Okay. And so with that program, Hope is going to work with other entities, and I'll use as an example the Small Business Administration. You may be an applicant who's looking to get X number of dollars from SBA, and you don't have the minimum requirement for your investment into into your business. Mm-hmm. So Hope will assist you with that minimum requirement through our program, and then you'll be more eligible for the SBA to give you the total sum. Absolutely
wonderful. Anything else?
And of course, I just want the listening audience, and specifically the constituents of Hinds County, to know that we have their best interests at heart, and we're going to be working very diligently to move Hinds County forward and make it, as he said, the Mecca of the South, and that is to improve the social and economic conditions for Hinds County. That is our sole mission, and anything else is just a farce.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for taking time out of your very, very busy day. And I know that we have to get you out of here because you've got some other obligations this afternoon. But thank you for joining us and sharing with us your vision and your plan for Hinds County. And I'm sure that there will be individuals who may want to reach out to you to give you some ideas of things to include in that 50-year plan, if y'all are open to it. Do you have a number, or would you like to give the general number for the Hinds County Board of Supervisors if individuals want to make contact to share some ideas? Because even though Lake Hyco is not a county thing, that's one that comes up almost in every conversation I have with people. Why
Yes.
can't we have a recreational area? And of course, I'm not putting you on the spot for that, but if people have ideas, even if they have to be rejected, are y'all open to that at this point?
I think at this particular point, it depends upon, we're open, in answer to your question, we're open to all ideas at this time, and that's part of developing the plan. The plan is not going to be so specific that it will eliminate, anybody's idea or suggestion. So it would be welcome. I would suggest that those persons that are interested, they will go on the Hinds County website and look at that, and they can identify, who they would need to talk to, because we have various departments, Public Works, Hinds County Economic Development Authority, as well as Maintenance Department and so forth. So rather than just giving out a general number, I would suggest that they go on our website and get that information. And there's a list of contact there.
All right. Well, we are talking today with Supervisor Vern Gavin, District 4, Hinds County Supervisor and newly elected President of the Hinds County Board of Supervisors. You are listening to and watching Unmuted, which is a program about educating and informing our citizens about the concerns and sometimes things that people don't get to talk about, so that they are fully informed about the information. We take the muzzle off. You get to talk to me about whatever you want to talk to me about. So thank you again for coming out and sharing. You're tuned in to Unmuted with Judge E.J. Russell.
And thank you, Judge Russell, for having me.
Thank you.
When you mention agriculture, most people think of farming. That's planting, growing, harvesting, and selling crops grown in a field, laboring in those fields behind a mule and a plow from dusk to dawn every day. This vision is a big misconception and could not be further from the truth. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, the agricultural industry and related industries provide 11% of jobs in America. In 2017, it was reported that 21.6 million Americans were employed in the agricultural industry. Women and minorities are underrepresented in those numbers, and we encourage you to consider agriculture as a career. While farming may be the cornerstone of agriculture, the overall world of agriculture is highly innovative and is so much more than just farming. A new generation of agricultural professionals prepare to take on the science, technology, and management that exist in the world of agriculture. Jobs in agriculture are segmented into 7 basic categories, which include plant science, natural resources, food science, ag business, ag mechanics, and technology. In those categories, you can find individuals working as landscape designers, publicists, foresters, plant doctors, journalists, accountants, veterinarians, farmers, ranchers, lawyers, engineers, pet groomers, loggers, agronomists, zoologists, wind turbine technicians, researchers, policy analysts, food safety, drone pilots, robotics, and the list goes on and on and on. Let us take a moment to hear from a few of those professionals who work in ag.
I am Dr. Cindy Ayers Elliott, CEO of Footprint Farms, a 68-acre urban farm and ranch here in the city of Jackson. I hold a degree in Business Administration and Finance and a degree in Economic Development from the University of Massachusetts Amherst, and a PhD from the I Love Jackson State University in Urban Management and Higher Education. I've worked 26 years on Wall Street, traveling the world, and today I'm a full-time farmer, growing a variety of specialty crops and raising livestock. I am a farmer.
Hi, my name is Bill Evans, and I'm the Director of Development and Chief Horticulturist at Biosoil Enhancers in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I've worked in vegetable crops for almost 30 years now, running university research farms in Ohio and Mississippi and doing applied soil and crop research. At Biosoil Enhancers, I write grant proposals for field research projects. I also conduct research and farm demonstrations on how bacteria and fungi can help plants get more nutrients from the soil and help conserve natural resources on farms.
Hello, I'm Tanya Gray Jenkins. I'm the Publicist and Social Media Director for Footprint Farms. I hold a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Science from Jackson State University. As a publicist, I generate publicity through the use of techniques in advertising, marketing, and public relations. My primary duty is brand development through social media. As the Social Media Director, I manage the company's online community by reading customers' comments, answering questions, and actively engaging the audience.
Hi, my name is Dr. David K. Powell. I attended Jackson State University for 2.5 years as an undergraduate, majoring in biology before transferring to Tuskegee University, where I was accepted into the veterinary medical program, becoming a second-generation veterinarian to graduate from Tuskegee's program. I have also served in the military as an Army veterinary preventive medical officer and as a supervisory public health veterinarian with FSIS USDA.
My name is Dr. Kara Woods, and I serve as the research analyst at the Socially Disadvantaged Farmers and Ranchers Policy Research Center that's housed at Alcorn State University. I have a PhD from Tuskegee in Public Policy and Development. I manage all the research that's funded at the Policy Center to make sure that farmers get what they need in the Farm Bill.
Hi, I'm Captain John Martin with the Jackson Fire Department, and I do social media marketing. Social media is an essential component of farming because social media closes the gap between farmers and consumers. Social media marketing helps bring awareness and visibility to surrounding communities and abroad. Your average produce will have traveled at least 1,500 miles before entering your local grocery store. Social media marketing allows consumers to be informed and access better quality food in their local vicinity. Wow. It's so amazing seeing people connect and interact with local farmers via social media.
As you can see, agriculture offers endless career possibilities with endless opportunities for exciting, fulfilling, and profitable careers.